Did you know that being controlling, rigid, perfectionistic, and dealing with procrastination can create relationship problems and interfere with happiness? Yep, it's true. And did you know that until now, people with this problem typically didn't search for help? And even if they did, there wasn't a system for dealing with it because we didn't see being a high performer as a problem because it gets results. Now we realize the high toll that it takes on the person and the relationship. So fortunately, there's a solution. It's RO-DBT. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what is RO-DBT and do you need RO-DBT? RO-DBT stands for Radically Open Dialectical Behavioral Therapy. It's a fairly new modality created by Dr. Thomas Lynch. And DBT differs from RO-DBT in that DBT targets the behaviors of under control. So it's helpful to people whose emotions you can see, or big emotions. RO-DBT targets the behavior of over control. So it's helpful to people whose emotions you typically can't see, or those who seem to have no emotions at all until they explode. So RO-DBT teaches people flexibility, openness, and connection because most likely when they were little, they learned these things were dangerous. So people with overcontrol typically grew up in households where their needs weren't met. So they learned how to be super independent. Their parents may have been very flexible, meaning they would do what they said and sometimes they wouldn't do what they said. So they learned to do the opposite to get predictable results. They learned to close down instead of being open because being open probably left them vulnerable to being ridiculed or disappointed. For example, if I tell my mom that I want a green dress and I don't get it, I might learn to not speak up or to want anything so that I'm not disappointed. If I show how happy I am to see my dad and he ignores me or laughs at me, I learn to have a poker face. Or it could be that as kids, they grew up with parents who had poker faces and were emotionally unpredictable. So they didn't learn how to read facial expressions. They think they're smiling when people who are looking at them think they have resting bitch face. So there's a lot of incongruences. These people want connection, but they might not feel safe having it, and they don't know how to get it. It's like there's a secret that other people know that they just never got. Well, DBT teaches all of that. The good news is that the people who need this tend to be high performers who catch on quickly. And if they know what to do, they just do it. So they get results pretty quickly and can create a really different, more fulfilling life pretty fast. So RODBT teaches people to relax, be playful, be curious, engage in self-inquiry instead of judgment or self-criticism. It's good for people with issues like anorexia, OCD, chronic depression, perfectionism, procrastination, social isolation, and autism spectrum traits. So a lot of people think that these are personality traits that just don't change, but it's not true. These are coping skills that can change. And when they do change, people are often warmer, more engaged, happier, and easier to be around. RODBT is an evidence-based therapy that has an individual therapy component and a group component. And this makes sense, right? Because if you're trying to learn to be more pro-social and vulnerable, that happens with other people. And the skills are things that can be put into practice right away and start making changes immediately. So if this sounds like you and you think, oh, this is just the way that I am, have an open mind. If how you are isn't making you happy, RODBT just might be the thing that creates a profound shift that leads to connected, happy relationships that we all long for. Remember, flexibility and connection are skills anyone can learn. So if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the video and watch more. Ciao.